So I want to say a few things. There's so many things to say. It's Thursday. Thank God it's Thursday. It's quite a complicated week. I'm starting a new job and always new things coming up, and it's something very exciting about starting something new. And I'm learning also how to teach new ways of being, because we're teaching children about how to preserve our nature, how to, how to think about the future. Because if they think about the future, then we'll have maybe hope for sustainability. This is the word, sustainability, to sustain what we have. Because right now we're not doing too well, the world, we have a lot of problems that are causing us problems right now. I just read now that the snow on the Alps is disappearing, which means big problems, because snow prevents floods. When the water freezes, it's not so much as a problem as when it doesn't freeze and there's huge amounts of it, and then it's a flooding. And then we have a problem for human beings and animals and plants, everything. So it's very important to take care of our planet, and everything matters. Every little bit we do does matter. Whether it's for us because we know we care, whether it's for the future. If you understand why it's important, there's hope for a change. And it's also about dogs. I'm here. All these dogs have been adopted. There's not one dog that's been purchased. Where are all the people that buy dogs? Where are they? I don't know, but I seem to find more and more dogs in the dog parks that are not purchased. Maybe it's because the ones who buy a dog think they have to keep them sort of in a box. I don't know. They have to really take care of them, and they don't really treat them like dogs. Sometimes I see people it's not here actually, thank God, yet, but people that dye the dog's hair, poodles with pink hair. That's horrible. There was a couple I saw that had a dog, and this dog just always had like the hair done. Went to the hairdresser at least once a week. I mean, a dog is a dog. It's an animal and should be allowed to enjoy its life. But sadly, not only are the dog industry providing less healthy dogs, I believe, than mixed dogs, breed dogs. It's just a genetic fact that if you mix genes, you get a healthier dog. And who wants a dog that looks exactly the same as other dogs, like physically the same, even though they're not the same? You can have dogs that look exactly the same and they're different, but still, who wants a dog that looks exactly like 1,000,000, I don't know, other dogs? Mixed dogs are pretty unique. Like, you see dogs that maybe are like them, but they're pretty unique. And they haven't been created as the result of a forced union. The dogs that are used for breeding are quite, they have a horrible life. They have to breed and breed and breed and produce. Same thing as cows. It's the same sort of thing where you take an animal and you use it as if it's an object, and just I wouldn't say dehumanize it. I don't believe in humanizing animals, but I think you should respect the dignity of an animal and not use it for your own intentions, just because it's just morally wrong to use a living being for your purpose, when it's actually unhealthy as well. And purebred dogs are less healthy, for sure. They have many more, they have so many health problems, a lot of these purebred dogs. And yes, maybe they're bred for a certain purpose, okay, but if it's companionship, why do you need somebody said to me, oh, my dog is a Porsche, and I said, well, mine is a Volkswagen, which is terrible for a Jewish person, but a Volkswagen means like a car of the people. So my dog is more like a folksy kind of dog, It's not a fancy schmancy. And it sounds bad to say Volkswagen, I know, I realize it. My dog is sort of, I don't know, Peugeot, like a family car. It's not a fancy car. It's a car that gets you where you need to go and not for a show off. All these labels and all these people that buy things in order to show off. It's so sad and pathetic for me. It's not only just a lot of money, but you end up spending more money because those dogs will have health problems, most likely. Much more than mixed dogs. And it's a fact, genetic fact. Check it out, Google it, whatever. No arguments there. So that's one thing about dogs. I was volunteering this week after I hadn't been there for 3 years since I adopted Shiva. Before I adopted Shiva, I was very sad. My dogs died and I went to volunteer. And they didn't want to give me a dog because they had some sort of age discrimination. And maybe I understand it, but a dog is much less likely to be tossed out of a home of a mature person than a young person who's maybe a student or just young, and they just don't really have the ability to commit. They maybe are married or not married, but they just don't have the ability to commit. And then they have children, and because of the children, they can't have a dog. Whereas my kids are grown up, and I don't have any problem with giving my time for my dog because I don't have young children to take care of. A lot of these dogs get sent to shelters because the people end up having babies, and they say, well, the dog doesn't get along with my baby. So the age discrimination really doesn't make sense. I'm not saying, like, I have a neighbor and she's like, I don't know, she's in her 70s and she's taking care of older dogs. She rehomed, dogs that have been abandoned at 14, and I think that's lovely. But you always have to have a backup plan, because what happens if something happens to you? But if you have a family, that's not really a problem. And it's not nice to not allow a person who's mature and has more time than a young person who's maybe busy doing a lot of things, building up their careers, taking care of children. They're considered a better candidate. A family is considered a better candidate to take care of a dog than a person who's middle-aged. I think that's ridiculous. But I didn't argue with him. I just came back and I said, I'm going to volunteer. I did adopt a dog, but not from you, because you guys wouldn't give me a dog. But that's okay. First dog I took for a walk about 3.5 years ago, I wanted to adopt him. They didn't want to give me this dog. And it was really sad but it turned out really well, because I have a cat, and probably a mature dog would have been a problem. So I had to take a puppy that would get used to the cat. So everything at the end turns out good, and it's really important. I learned in my profession now as an educator of sustainability, and teaching children, educating children about our planet and how to keep it and how to take care of our environment in the city. It's that you don't tell somebody off. You don't lecture them. You let them reach the conclusion from presenting the facts in an interesting way. With children, it's through games, so all sorts of activities that help them make their own conclusions. So we present them the facts in a playful manner, an interesting way. And if they want to ignore the facts after they know him, it's one matter. But if you don't know the facts, then how are you ever going to make any intelligent decisions? This is the same thing with politics, which I really, really, really don't want to get into. I understand that there's so many universities in the US that base their opinions on TikTok. I'm sorry, but that's not the kind of scientific thinking I was educated to hold. When I was learning biology, that's not the kind of thing, let's just TikTok what this means. There wasn't even Google, so you had to really look for the facts. But people who base their opinions on emotions are definitely not the kind of persons that make intelligent decisions, because emotions do not lead us to good places. But if you have the right kind of attitude, and you love your planet, and you love nature, and you love animals, and you love plants, then by all means get the facts right and make intelligent decisions based on facts, friendly facts, or facts don't lie. They don't have, what is the phrase that I heard lately? Facts don't have emotions. They're just facts. So you can't argue with them really. But then people do argue with facts because they use their emotional state based on a bias. And that's the worst kind of decisions. And I'm shocked that any university, supposed to be higher learning, is actually acting as a lower learning. Kids in school, primary school, they won't believe something unless they know, you have to prove it to them. They don't just automatically believe things because they're still thinking. But at some point, people get into these trendy sort of mindsets where they say, oh, it's fashionable to support such and such, so that's what I'm going to do because I want to be in the crowd, the in crowd. And that's one thing about me, thank God. I never wanted to be in the in crowd. And I think it's very typical of this sort of place I grew up in, that we're not very popular people here in Israel, that we don't really have even the choice to be the in crowd, because we've always been outcasts, we've never been very popular, except very, very short period of time when it was trendy to like Israel. But since we're not like them, we don't have to please anybody by pretending to be something we're not, without getting into politics, just the mindset. So nice, refreshing, not to preach to kids, not to brainwash them, as I've seen done so too often in schools. It's horrible. You shouldn't tell kids what to think. You should give them the facts and present your case and let them decide, let them have critical thinking, for God's sakes. If the child doesn't learn critical thinking, then it's really sad. It's a waste of intelligence. They might as well be an insect or something that doesn't have control over their fate. And human beings have much more control over their fate and over the world than animals do. Animals don't have a lot of control and a lot of power to change things. And so we should all realize that we all have a power just by doing little things, little deeds. We can make things better, or we can make things worse by deciding where we want to be in this world. Do we want to make it all about ourselves, or do we want to make it about something bigger than ourselves? That's my opinion anyway. Dogs are having a great time. Shiva is very serious. And wish you all a nice weekend. Look forward to a more relaxing time now. And as relaxing it can be with dogs. Just cleaning up. And it's really wonderful to sort out things and to also get rid of things, because less is more. Don't hoard things. It's so good to let go of things. Up. And you can learn from dogs. They don't have, what do they have? Nothing. Harness, that's it. That's their life. Can you imagine living like that? Not being attached to something in a way that it really harms your decision making? I'm not saying be like a dog. I'm saying we can learn certain things. And that's what I want, to be free of being attached to material things and trends and fashions and watching stupid shows. I really want my brain to be submerged in things that make my brain happy and sort of excited about things, and not things that just make me feel sad. And just I'm really tired of looking at the ugly side of the world, which the news does that. It wants us to be sad because that sells, the drama. I really just want a peaceful, drama-free life. Because there's just so many beautiful things that we can enjoy without drama. Drama just ruins everything. Anyway, that's what my opinion is. If you like drama, go ahead. It's not for me. I'm dramatic enough as it is. I want peace. Balancing. That's where it's at. Right, Shiva? Look at Shiva, so quiet, looking around.